You do not have to exercise in order to lose fat. In fact, if you exercise when you're obese and you're not used to exercising, this one thing could actually keep you from ever wanting to try to lose fat again. So that's what I hopefully by the end of this podcast, I've explained exactly why what I'm saying is true. In order to lose weight, you do not exercise and you do not just try to decrease your calories. That is the worst advice there is. So, before we get started, I'm just going to explain a few terms. So, first thing, we're talking about calories. So, what is a calorie? And just so you know, a calorie is just a unit of energy. And exactly, a calorie is the amount of energy it takes to raise 1 gram of water up through 1 degree Celsius. That's what it is, the amount of energy it takes to do that. Now, a food calorie is actually a kilocalorie, it's 1,000 calories. So, it's how much energy does it take to raise 1 kilogram of water up through 1 degree Celsius. That's all it is. So, calorie is a unit of energy. The way we make our energy, our calories, our energy form in our body is called ATP. It's adenosine triphosphate. So, whenever you break an ATP, adenosine triphosphate, down to an ADP, adenosine diphosphate, what you're doing is you're losing a phosphate. That's why you go to triphosphate down to diphosphate. As you lose that phosphate, that's what gives your body the energy. Now, in our bodies, there's two different substrates that actually produce ATP, gives us the energy. That's glucose and that's fat. Now, glucose that's the only purpose basically that glucose has in our body is for energy. That's all we can use for it. And what's actually supposed to be for is our fight or flight energy. That's why we have such tiny amounts of glucose stores in our body. 10% of our liver, 1% of each of our skeletal muscles. That's it. We don't have a lot because we don't need a lot because we're supposed to be using our fat for an energy source. Now, the other thing about this is glucose can only be used for energy, to where fat is used for so many things in our body. Fat's used for our energy storage and our energy release. It's used for insulation. It insulates all over our body. It helps make hormones. Fat like cholesterol, that's where you get your testosterone, your estrogen, your progesterone. Fat and cholesterol is in every single cell membrane that our cells have. So we need that for our cells, especially for our nerve fibers, for our brains to help to function properly. We have to have fat and cholesterol. It helps with absorption of vitamins A, D, E, and K. It helps cushion all our organs. It regulates our hunger and our satiety centers. It maintains our energy balance. It regulates our glucose and cholesterol. It maintains our insulin sensitivity. It generates heat. It actually helps fight infection, and it also provides our essential fatty acids. So fat is used for so many things. Fat and cholesterol are vital to our health. Eating glucose is not vital for your health. You never, ever have to eat glucose and you'll be perfectly fine. But that's what all my other podcasts are for. That's not what I'm talking about today. So today we're talking about metabolism. We're talking about losing weight, and we're talking about the horrible advice that we are given constantly about if you want to lose fat, all you have to do is exercise more and decrease the calories you take in. Horrible advice, makes no sense. So I want to explain this to you. First, what metabolism is. Metabolism is how our body changes the food that we eat into energy and into building materials for our body to be able to grow, heal, thrive, and survive. That's what metabolism is, breaking down food and using it to help our bodies. Now, when our body breaks down this food into smaller pieces, that's a way that our body actually uses a lot of energy. And so that's when it's breaking down our food, like our proteins into amino acids, our fat into fatty acids, and our carbohydrates into glucose. So that's one way that we use energy. But then we also use energy to actually build things up, like how we make new cells, which we're producing more new cells every day. Right now, you're reproducing thousands of cells, your blood cells, your skin cells, the cells down your intestinal tract, your white blood cells, red blood cells. We're constantly making new cells, and our organs are actually replenishing cells also. And then our muscles, if you're growing, you're constantly building more muscles. So it takes more energy for that. And just repair. Just if you get cut or something, it takes energy to repair all those cuts. So that's what metabolism is. In fact, if you take all the metabolic processes, all the energy it takes for our whole body, it's actually called your TEE. That's your total energy expenditure. And what your TEE is It's taking all your basal metabolism, all the energy it takes for you just to sleep. So when you're just sleeping, you're not moving, you're not doing anything. You're still burning a lot of calories because your heart's still beating, you're breathing, your lungs are going in and out, your brain is thinking, your intestines are moving, all this stuff. This is actually when your body uses a lot of energy because that's when, if you tear your body, you usually tear your body down through the day, especially if you're lifting weights, which is good, just at the right time. And then at sleep, when you're sleeping, that's when your body actually regenerates and goes and rebuilds those muscles and actually ends up building more. So there's a lot of energy just going on just while you're sleeping. And that's called your basal metabolism. So your TEE is your basal metabolism plus all the thermogenic effects of food. Like I said, when you eat food, you have to break that down. So that takes energy. Then all your non exercise activity, like we were just saying, your non exercise activity thermogenesis is all the stuff that's going on while you're sleeping, like your basal metabolism. Then there's an excess post exercise oxygen consumption. So once you exercise, once you stop exercising, your body is still going and trying to metabolize and trying to take care of all the stuff you just did because you tore your body down during exercise. And now it's time for your body to regenerate. And then there's exercise. So as you can see, exercise is such a tiny amount of your total energy expenditure. In fact, your basal metabolism, and I promise I am going to get to the main crux of what I'm talking about, but you have to understand what we're talking about energy, how our body gets energy, how it utilizes energy. And this is important. So, our basal metabolism, and again, that's the amount of energy it takes, say, for one day that all you do is lay in bed and sleep all day. You don't do anything, no walking, no doing anything. Just to get your body through that day takes around 2,400 calories. Okay. Just to do nothing. That's your basal metabolism. Now let's compare that 2,400 calories to working out. Okay. If you work out very hard, you're sitting there, you're lifting heavy weights and you do it for an entire hour of lifting extremely heavy weights, you may burn off 400 to 800 calories. Most people are not lifting heavy weights for an hour. And if you actually are lifting very heavy weights, you're not going to be able to do it for an hour because you either way lift heavy or you lift long. It's one or the other. You can't lift heavy and long. That's a topic for another day too. So 2,400 calories just to sleep, 400 to 800 with that extremely hard workout. Most people's workouts come in around 100 to 200 calories. It's really not very much. Now, the key to this also is your body can adjust its metabolism up and down by 30%. Okay. Our body has a way to slow down its metabolism or to speed its metabolism up. And you can decide which way your body does it. So if we're talking about going up or down by 30% and your basal metabolism 2,400 calories, that means that we could turn our basal metabolism all the way down to 1,600 calories, or we could turn it up to 3,120 calories because 30% of 2,400 is around 720 calories. So we can adjust our calorie usage from 1,600 to 3,120 calories. And this is just an example. Okay. But it is the fact that our body metabolism can increase or decrease by 30%. So the key, and I'm not going to go into this because all my podcasts are about this. The key is it is not about calories. It's about the source of those calories because there's only one substance that forces you to store your fat. And there's only one substance that forces you to burn your fat for your energy source. And that is the exact same substance, which is called insulin. So it has nothing to do with calories on how you get fat. It has to do with keeping your insulin levels high, which pushes your fat into your fat cells. When you keep your insulin levels low, it causes you to burn your fat out of your fat cells. So this is not about calories. This is about the calorie source. Keep your insulin levels low. And the way you do that is you keep your glucose levels low. And the only way you can do that is by quit eating glucose. And remember, glucose is the basic building block of all carbohydrates. Glucose and carbohydrates, you can use those terms interchangeably. It's the exact same thing. Carbohydrates are just long chains of glucose or varying chains of glucose. Okay. So keep carbohydrates, which means all plant-based food and all laboratory-made food, are loaded with glucose. So if you keep that kind of food out of your mouth, then that's going to keep your insulin levels low. And if your insulin levels are low, you're going to burn the fat out of your fat cells and you will lose weight and you'll feel great doing it. But that's what we're going to be going on into now. Now, before I go on to actually explain exactly what I'm talking about, I just want you to know if any of you need help, we have a 30-minute one-on-one call, you and me, and you can ask me anything you want. We can talk about your laboratory values. I can explain to you what those labs mean and what you can do to improve them. We can talk exactly about how you can totally reverse diabetes, and I've reversed diabetes in many patients. We can talk about the medications you're on, how they work, why you're on them, the immense amount of adverse effects that every medication has, and what we can do to actually get you off some of these medications. And I've gotten a lot of people off a lot of medications. And then if you just want to lose fat, if you just want to lose weight, we can talk about that only. It also, if you're interested in a one-on-one 30-minute call with me, just click the link below and get on my calendar and we'll talk and we'll see what we can do about getting you healthier. But now, what I mainly want to talk about is it's called a body weight set point. This is going to explain exactly why the information of all you have to do to lose weight is decrease calories and exercise more is the worst advice anybody could give. It makes zero sense whatsoever. You have to understand how the body works. And this is one thing, the body weight set point, our body, it's called homeostasis. Our body likes everything in a very narrow range. It knows when it functions the best. So if you're going to measure your sodium level in your blood, our body has many mechanisms to keep our sodium level between 135 and 145 milligrams per deciliter. It also can keep our potassium levels between 3.5 and 5 milliequivalents per deciliter. Has all kinds of mechanisms to keep it in this range. The pH, the acidity of our blood, our body keeps it at 7.35 to 7.45. And again, has all kinds of mechanisms to keep it in that range because that's how it functions best. Our fasting blood glucose needs to stay between 70 and 100 milligrams per deciliter. And again, our body has all kinds of ways of keeping it that way. And you don't have to eat the glucose to keep your glucose up because your body can make all the glucose it needs out of protein and also out of fat. And when you look at how much glucose is in your total bloodstream, if they take all the glucose out, there's only 2 teaspoons of glucose. It doesn't take that much. So we can easily make the glucose we need out of protein and fat that we have on our body. And then temperature, as our bodies have a lot of ways to regulate to keep the temperature between around 98.6. Now, on all these, there's a little fluctuation up or a little fluctuation down, but that's basically the ranges that our body likes. So it does the exact same thing with our body weight. We have a body weight set point that our body has 2 different variables to keep our body weight set point exactly where it is. It can either increase or decrease our appetite, or it can increase or decrease our metabolism. And it does this to try to keep our body where it is. Now, just to make clear, you understand this, and your body weight set point does not mean that's the healthiest weight for your body, okay? All a body weight set point is that's the weight that your body feels comfortable with, the type of nutrition that you eat and the type of activity that you do. This is where your body feels most comfortable. So I don't care if you weigh 300 pounds, 400 pounds, or 150 pounds. Wherever you weigh, if you get in the scale every day, your body's going to go up and down right around that same weight. So whenever you measure your body weight and you see that goes up and down around a certain weight, whatever that middle weight is, that is your body's ideal body weight. Okay. So I want to explain this to you exactly what happens. Remember, there's 2 ways that your body adjusts its metabolism or adjust its metabolism and appetite to keep you at your body weight set point. So let's say that you are 220 pounds, but you're an actor. And you've got a movie coming up and they want you to be 40 pounds heavier. They want you to be 260 pounds. Okay. So what you do is you start eating a lot of carbohydrates because that's how you get your insulin high and that's how you stuff fat in your fat cells. So you eat a lot of carbohydrates. As you start to gain weight, okay, you're at 200 and you're heading your way up to 260. Your body knows that your body weight set point is 220 pounds. So it does everything it can to get your body back down as you're trying to gain weight. what your body does, remember, there's two ways it affects your metabolism and your appetite. So, as your 220-pound actor is trying to get up 260 pounds, your body's saying, whoa, stop, stop. I need you to get your weight back down to 220. So, what it does is it decreases their appetite. It makes them where they aren't hungry. So, these people are eating when they're not hungry. And we'll talk about that too. The other thing your body does is it tries to speed up your metabolism because you're here at 220, you're trying to get 260, your body wants to get you back down to 220. So it speeds up the metabolism and it decreases your hunger. Okay, decrease your appetite so it can get you back down there. Now, that's what's good about eating carbohydrates because one, it increases your insulin, so you're stuffing fat, and carbohydrates totally annihilate basically your satiety center, the part of your body that makes you feel full. Eating glucose, sugar, totally makes that where it doesn't work. So now you hijack your satiety center. So now it does make you hungry. And if you're eating all the man-made food, it's actually made so you can sit here and you're hungry constantly. All this laboratory made food in box, bottle, bag, and can, lines, all the grocery store shelves, center aisles. That is what we're talking about. That's the kind of food that's making us extremely sick and extremely obese. And it's nothing but glucose, fructose, seed oils, and chemicals. It's horrible for us. And that food is actually designed to make you more hungry. They want you eating their product. That's how they make the trillions of dollars that they do. Food companies and drug companies, they're just businesses, and their number one priority is to their shareholders. They want to make sure their stocks keep going up. So the best way to make food increase their shares is to make you eat food that you crave and also that makes you continuously hungry. And so that's what this actor's doing. They're having to eat all this food that hijacks their satiety center, which is the part that makes you feel full. And they're eating kind of food that makes them hungry all the time so they can get that weight up. Okay. So that's what happens. So your body's trying to decrease your appetite and it's trying to increase your metabolism, get your weight down. Now, let's look at you, or most of you who are probably on this, listen to this. If you want to decrease your weight, now say you're that exact same 220-pound person, but now this is your ideal body weight or your body weight set point of 200 pounds, and you want to drop 40 pounds. Instead of gaining 40 pounds for the movie, you're going to drop 40 pounds for your health. So you're 220 pounds, you're trying to go down to 180. As you start dropping down, your body says, whoa, you're losing weight and your body weight set point's up here at 220. So it makes your body actually tries to get your weight back up. And again, it does it with two ways, appetite and metabolism. So as you're losing your weight, your body's making you ravenously hungry. No, you need to eat a lot more to get your weight back up to that 220. The other thing it does as you're losing weight is it slows your metabolism way down. Remember, it can adjust up and down by 30%. It slows your metabolism way down. So it makes you where all of a sudden you're not using much energy because it's trying to get you back up to that 220 pounds. Okay. Does that make sense? So you're 220 pounds. You're trying to get down to 180. Your body doesn't want you there. It wants you up at 220. So it makes you ravenously hungry and it slows its metabolism. Does that make sense? Now, think about what I just said, because what I just said is the total explanation of why, if you want to lose weight, you have to decrease calories and exercise more, is the worst advice you could ever give anybody. And that's the only people who say that are the people who know nothing about the body, nothing about nutrition, nothing about metabolism, nothing about how the body truly takes care of food, which is our metabolism. So what they say, oh, you weigh 220 pounds, you should be at 180. So you need to start decreasing calories. Eat the same laboratory-based food that everybody eats day in and day out, all through the day, that's making us sick. Keep eating that, just decrease your calories. That's what they're telling you. So your body, as you're going down, your body is making you ravenously hungry to try to get you back up to that 220 at the exact same time that we're telling you, eat the same stuff, just decrease your calories. And again, this is not about calories, it's about the calorie source. The other thing they say is you need to exercise, because when you exercise, you're going to burn off more calories. I've already proven exercise is not burning off your calories. That's not how you do it. The other thing is they're telling you to exercise when your body is slowing your metabolism down. So now you have less energy, you feel very unenergetic, and that's when they're going and they're telling you need to exercise more. So that's why if you're trying to exercise when your body is making your metabolism slow down, this is going to make you feel miserable. You're going to be tired constantly. You're not going to be thinking clearly. You're going to feel horrible. And that's why I say if you want to lose fat, if you want to lose weight, it is not about decreased calories and exercise more. So what do you do? What do you do? The fact is, if you're trying to lose weight, which most people are and most people should, okay, for their health, and it's not just about fat, it's not about how you look, it's about all the things going inside your body that's causing you to have the increased fat in the first place. And that thing is insulin. Because the three pillars of all organ disease, which is all disease, is having high insulin levels, having inflammation throughout the body, and having high blood glucose levels. So if you quit eating all this laboratory made food that's in the box, bottle, bag, and can, that's going to help keep a lot of the chemicals out of your body. And the chemicals are where you're getting the inflammation. It's also made with a lot of polyunsaturated seed oils, and those are extremely inflammatory for another reason. But that's what puts all the inflammation in your body. When you eat all that food, you eat carbohydrates, which again, I said is exactly the same thing as glucose. If you look at a product and it says there's 50 grams of carbohydrates, that means there's 50 grams of glucose. Anytime you're eating carbohydrates, your glucose goes up, your blood glucose goes up, and that makes your blood insulin go up. And when your blood insulin goes up, that forces you to store fat in your fat cells. And you continue to do that until you get totally insulin resistant. And now your glucose goes up. Okay. So that was just a summary of all my podcasts. But I want to make sure you understand that it's not about decreased calories. What you want to do is, since you're trying to lose weight and your body is trying to make you ravenously hungry, you need to truly avoid the types of food that are actually made to make you more hungry. And that's the man-made, laboratory-made food in the box, bottle, bag, and can that lines your grocery store aisles. That food is manufactured for a reason by scientists. They paid millions of dollars to these people to keep you addicted to their food and keep you hungry. So if you're trying to lose weight and your body's trying to make you hungry, the main thing you do is avoid all the man-made food, this laboratory-made food that's made to make you be hungry. And seriously, even God-made fruits and vegetables, the God-made carbohydrates, those also have glucose in them. The ones below the ground tend to have a lot more glucose because it's starch than the ones that grow above the ground, like lettuce and tomatoes and onions. Those are fine, broccoli. But the ones below the ground, your potatoes and sweet potatoes, those have a lot of glucose in them. So if you're trying to lose weight, you want to keep your glucose levels down. And that's one way to do it. So as far as their information of saying all you got to do is eat less calories, that is not true. What you need to do is stay away from all the glucose producing foods. That's what you need to do. So that means mainly eat mostly animal-based product, meat, eggs, cheese, cottage cheese, cream cheese, yogurt, Greek yogurt, full fat milk. All that is perfectly good. And none of that raises your insulin levels. And this is all about insulin. It's glucose that raises your insulin level, and glucose comes from the plants. You'll have a little bit in meat, but not that much to worry about. Now let's look at the second part when they say you need to exercise more. So remember, the way you're going to do that is you don't exercise. It's that easy. You don't exercise. When you're not exercising because your body is slowing its metabolism down. So all you have to do, and I've treated people, I had a guy that one of my friends that I started talking to, he lost 145 pounds in 1 year, and he never exercised a one iota. He was too big. He started off over 400 pounds. Okay. So this is not the time to exercise. I truly believe in exercise. My wife and I, we work out at least 3 to 4 times every single week. Okay. It is very good for your body and for all kinds of reasons, but losing fat is not one of them. That's not why we're exercising, is to lose fat. So what you'll find is that when you start changing the food that you eat and it keeps you feeling full and you're keeping your insulin levels low, so you burn the fat out of your fat cells and using that for your energy source, your weight is going to come down. And it doesn't take very long. As your weight starts coming down, you start feeling so much better. You get clear headed. You have all this energy. You're almost looking for things to burn off energy because you feel so awesome. That's when you start working out. That's when it happens. You don't do this as part of a weight loss procedure. You do it as part of a health period after you lose your fat. So I hope I've made that very clear. It is not about decreased calories. It's about keeping glucose out of your mouth. And it's not about exercise, even though exercise is wonderful to do, but not at that time. If you're obese and you're not used to working out, this is not the time to do it. The only thing that everybody should do, 100% of the people, no matter where your status is, walk. As far as exercise, everybody should be walking every single day, all throughout the day. And that's for a whole nother reason. That's not about losing fat. That's about being healthy. And that's about pumping all the metabolic chemicals, all the waste and everything out of your body. Everybody should walk. But if you're obese and you've never exercised before, this is not the time to do it. And you also can't use exercise and not being able to exercise as an excuse for not losing weight, because now you know it's not about exercise. All you have to do is every time you go to put food in your mouth, look at it and say, did this come from an animal? If the answer is yes, eat it. And that'll keep you feeling full, and it'll give your body all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the fat, all the cholesterol, and all the protein that your body needs. So that's good. If it did not come from an animal, then you want to look, did it come from a laboratory like box bottle McCann, anything with a label on it, basically, keep that out of your mouth. Or did this come from God? Is it a fruit or vegetable? Then you can eat it, but be careful, because the vegetables grow below the ground, have a lot more glucose in them, so it keeps your insulin a little higher longer. The ones above the ground are fine. And so you just have to decide, depend on where your health status is. And again, if you need help with this, if you want me to explain all this to you, all you have to do is click on the link below, hop on my calendar, and we'll have a one-on-one talk of exactly where you are and what I feel like your next step should be. Go ahead, click on the link below. I hope this answered some questions. So the next time someone says, oh, I think you need to lose weight, you need to do this by decrease your calories and exercise more, don't belittle them or anything, because they just don't know. Just realize and feel good that you are much smarter than they are. Now, this brings me to the last point that I really want to make sure that you understand, because almost every single patient that I've dealt with that has been losing weight, they're losing weight, they feel great, they have all kinds of energy, their fat's coming off, they're getting off medications, but then all of a sudden there's going to be a time that you're losing weight and now you just stall out and you don't lose any more weight for a while. This is very important. This is a time that a lot of people get really frustrated and they think, well, whatever I was doing must not be working, so I'm going to have to change something else to keep losing more weight. That's not true. That's not what's going on here. Now that you understand the body weight set point, that's what's happening. Is your body weight set point was here. Remember, that's not the healthiest. That's just the body weight that your body, with your nutrition and your activity, that's where it thought was good. But now that you're losing weight, when all of a sudden you stall out, that should be a good thing in your mind. Think of that as you are resetting your body weight set point. So now your entire body weight set point is coming back down. So it's going to take a little while. Some people, this little stall could last, 1 or 2 weeks. Some people, this stall lasts months and even over a year, that they stall out at this weight. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're feeling great, your fat's coming off, you're getting off medications, you're going in the right direction. Just keep doing that. And eventually there's going to be a point when all of a sudden you've decreased your body weight set point, and now all of a sudden your body's ready to start losing more fat after that. So what I'm saying is, if you're losing weight and you feel good and you come to a stall, that should be a good thing. It's like, oh, that's great. That means I'm resetting my body weight set point. So don't be frustrated. Don't let that throw you off what you're doing, because what you're doing is working great. And that's when you know that a nutrition plan that's helping you lose weight is a good, healthy one, is when you have plenty of energy, more energy than you did. You're losing weight. You feel great. All your labs look good. You're getting off your medications. That's the sign that you are on the right nutrition plan. And that's what you want to do. So That's all I have for right now. And if you're losing weight the healthy way and you stall, don't let that worry you. You're just keep on doing what you're doing. So that's all I have for today. So until next time, stay nourished and stay well.